The amount of men that are broke, don't want to be providers, or spend their money to take a woman out to nice places, what do you want then? Do you even like women? Maybe you should be dating men. These types of guys are wondering what they're getting in return when they're getting her presents. Women can afford their own dinner. They don't need to be there, and they don't understand. There can only be one princess.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're watching women explain why men should pay all the bills, fund their lifestyle, and be full-time providers, while somehow convincing themselves that bringing less to the table is still a fair deal. Let's get into it. Right after you subscribe, of course.
Why we don't go 50-50 in our relationship?
So we don't go 50-50 in our relationship because I work 70 hours a week and I pay all her bills. She a stay-at-home girlfriend because we don't got no kids. We live separately, so I pay the bills at her house and my house, take care of her like the queen she is. And you do stuff. What you do? Just let them know what you do to pack my lunch and stuff like that.
Yeah, sometimes I'll pack him like a little Lunchable to go in his lunchbox, or
you make the best Lunchables.
I know. You like the pizza ones or you like the sandwich ones?
I like the ones with the crackers in it and the cheese. And
yeah, the little sandwich.
Yeah,
little cracker sandwich.
The little Capri Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He usually gotta buy him also something else because he act like, I don't know, sometimes he act like he's still hungry after that, which I don't know why you still hungry after I just packed you up.
Direct deposit to her account every week. I don't want her to feel like she ever got to go out and work for anything, so I got my stuff going direct deposit straight to her. If y'all men out there want a pretty woman, y'all gotta do stuff like this. This how you get them.
If you want a good woman in your life, why would you not wanna pay for everything she has, pay her bills, get her toes, nails, stuff done? I just feel like a real man would do that for his woman, especially if he loved her. You love me, right?
I love you. Kiss me, man. Kiss me first. No, kiss me on the lips.
Not right now.
No, kiss me on the lips.
Stop.
Stop.
This man works 70 hours a week, pays 2 households, sends weekly deposits, funds nails, toes, bills, groceries, and his reward? A Lunchable. Bro is running a Fortune 500 company just to receive a Capri Sun and 3 crackers. The funniest part is him teaching men, this is how you get a good woman. Nah, this is how you get financially audited by Cupid. Then she asks if he loves her. And my guy immediately starts looking for his keys. Game over.
You have to be a very weak man to be scared of a woman who says she wants a provider. Without this woman, you would still be paying everything that's in your household. To be a provider is to provide for yourself, essentially. So ladies, if it's a man that's scared of you saying that you want a provider, 9 times out of 10, he can't provide for himself. He needs you to go 50-50 because he literally cannot survive by himself. And if a man can't afford the cost of his own independence alone, he's not a man. Now, I do believe it's the woman's job to keep herself up. Like, it's not a man's job to pay for your hair, nails, lashes. All of that is going above and beyond. But the bare minimum is for him to be taking care of that household.
Ladies, according to this logic, if a man wants financial cooperation, he's apparently homeless. Bro, what? So a guy pays 100% of his own bills while single, then gets into a relationship and is expected to pay 100% of hers too. And that's somehow proof of masculinity? The crazy part is nobody ever says a woman who wants help with bills is incapable of surviving alone. Funny how independence becomes optional the second the check arrives. That tells you everything.
Going to work is not a sacrifice.
Go watch his whole video, of course. But going to work to support your family is not a sacrifice. And he says this at the end of his video. It's a sacrifice if you go to work and you support your family and your family does nothing in return. And probably the expectation for your children to do something for you in return is a lot lower than your spouse. But if you are a man and you're going to work and you're making a paycheck and you're bringing it home, that's your contribution. Assuming you're married to a woman and your wife is not working, she probably contributes in a lot of other ways. Besides the obvious ones that always get brought up, the cooking, the cleaning, the childcare, she probably also maintains an inventory on all of the things that you need to keep your house running. She's probably also making appointments for everybody in the house. She's probably making sure that the children have clothes that are appropriate for different seasons and different sizes and different events. She's keeping tabs on everybody's food preferences and allergies and making grocery lists and buying groceries and making sure that the meals are going to be on time and ready for all sorts of situations. She's going to parent-teacher conferences in the middle of the day. She's the one, if your child is home sick from school, she's there to take care of the child so that you don't have to take off a day of work. And so many other things. At work, you are compensated financially. People probably respect you. You get to have adult conversations. If you have a commute, you have uninterrupted time listening to whatever music or podcast you'd like. Your contributions are valuable, but they are not a sacrifice. Now, a sacrifice might be your wife sacrificing her career to make sure that your home and your children are taken care of. Because 10 years in, if she decides that she wants to leave you, her resume looks like junk. And yours has continued to improve. In the same way that billionaires exploit the work of the middle class, men and the world exploit the work of women. And we appreciate the men who are talking about it.
Bro really compared a paycheck to listening to podcasts in traffic. Imagine waking up at 5 a.m., dealing with deadlines, bosses, layoffs, inflation, taxes, and somebody says, well, actually, your commute is self-care. Nah, that's comedy. And there it is. The effort a man makes is just expected, but every household task is suddenly heroic labor worthy of a Nobel Prize. The funniest part? They want provider benefits, while simultaneously explaining why providing isn't impressive. Pick one.
Baby, I'm at the age where I need a motherfucking provider. Bitch, I need a provider. Bitch, I'm not messing with nobody for who they is anymore. Because they be the main motherfuckers that mistreat you, because you know why? You get comfortable for allowing a bare minimum. When you go in a relationship and you let them know exactly what the fuck you want and what you deserve and that you ain't selling for less, and if they don't do what you deserve, then you not fucking with them, that be the ones that's gonna actually do something for your ass. But if you go in a relationship and be like, oh, I don't care what you do for me, I just love you for who you is, we gonna try to elevate together. Fuck no! That be the same motherfucking people that give you the bare minimum. You know why? Cause you okay with that shit. Life is life and bills is billing. Don't get me wrong, bitch. I'm gonna love you for you. But you gotta put something in the motherfucking booth, bitch. Something. And yes, I got my own motherfucking money, but I want your... Baby, I want your motherfucking money too.
I got my own money, but I want yours too. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached peak honesty. Forget soulmates. Forget compatibility. Forget shared values. The new love language is direct deposit. And there it is. She literally says loving someone for who they are is a bad strategy because it might lead to bare minimum effort. Bro, imagine replacing emotional standards with financial requirements and calling it empowerment. At least she's honest. Most people hide the invoice until after the relationship starts.
What's with the excuse of men saying that they're too busy and they can't commit to a relationship because they're too busy? And all they're doing is gym, work, and meal prep. Like, I can't deal. And then there's like the females, like in my circle, all the girls are doing so much. Like so much. And they are just like amazing, amazing women who work, who look after themselves, who goes to the gym, who pays their own bills, who looks beautiful, stunning, and they are doing the most. Like, the expectations are quite up there, and yet the men the expectations are so low, and they're not even meeting the expectations. I just don't understand. I don't understand. And like, I don't even think the men, you know, back in the days where the men were the providers and like the women were housewives, I don't think those men were complaining nearly as much as the men are today. And they actually had higher expectations. So now women are earning money, women are working, women are doing the things that men are doing, which are not praised nearly as much, by the way. And the men are just, I don't know, they're just going downhill. Like, What do you guys actually have to offer at this point? I don't know. I don't know.
Women, men should provide. Also women, we earn our own money now. Also women, what do men even bring to the table? Bro, that's the contradiction speed run. The crazy part is she lists gym, work, meal prep, self-improvement, then acts confused why someone focused on building their life isn't available on demand. And there it is. Men are expected to provide, lead, commit, protect, earn more, stay fit, but somehow they're the ones with low expectations. Make it make sense.
This girl asked me, if a man asks me on a date, do I expect him to pay for the date? I said, if he asks me on a date, I would expect that yes, he pays for the date. She said, same. She said, now, if he asks you on this date, shouldn't he pay for your hair, nails, all this other stuff? I said, no. She said, why? He's the one that wants to take you on the date, so he should pay for you getting your nails done, you getting a new outfit, and you getting your hair done. I'm like, so you're basically a prostitute. And she's like, whoa, no, I'm not. And she got super offensive. But my thing is, if he could pay for all that, why can't he pay for in between your legs? And I asked her, if a friend invites you to a birthday party and you say yes, do you expect your friend to pay for your hair, nails, and outfit? She's like, no. I said, so why would you expect a stranger who knows nothing about you to do the same? We went back and forth on this topic, y'all, for about 30 minutes. And finally, I'm just like, you know what? Listen, I just feel like my time is very valuable. You can't buy my time. If I actually agree to a date, it's because, okay, I see some interest in you as well. And I will also like to, you feel me, invest that time into you. Why do I feel like he should invest in me and he don't know me? He already invested in the date. Like, damn. Now, if he's my man, absolutely. Baby, I need my nails done. Baby, I need my hair done. But he's not. He's a stranger. I don't know, y'all. I feel like there's a lot more birds on the ground than in the sky. What do y'all think? Am I wrong right now? Am I being a pick-me? She called me a pick-me. Is that a pick-me?
Finally, somebody entered the chat with common sense. A man pays for the date? Fair enough. A man pays for your hair, nails, outfit, lashes, transportation, emotional support package, and premium membership before even knowing your last name? Nah, that's not dating. That's a Kickstarter campaign. The best part is when she asks why a stranger should finance all that. Exactly. Bro already invested in the date. At some point, you're not screening for interest anymore. You're screening for sponsors. Rare accountability sighting detected.
Hey ladies, one time I told a dude that when I get married, I want someone who is going to provide for me and pay all of these bills. Duh. He said something to the effect of, you don't want a man, you want a dad. You must not have a dad ever, blah, 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 blah. No, sir. I do have a dad. That's why I want that. My dad spoiled me to death and still does to this day. If I call that man right now and tell him I need some money, it's going to be my cash out within the next 10 minutes. So you think I'm going to go from that to being in a relationship with a man who don't do nothing for me? Does that make sense to you? Like, just make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's what a man is supposed to do, in my opinion. Now, if that's not how you feel, that's completely okay. There are plenty of women out here on the earth who do not believe that a man's job in a relationship is to protect and provide. Go find one of them and do whatever it is that dummies do when they get together. But if you want to be over here, it's gonna cost you something, sir. Sorry, blame David.
Nah, this is insane. So, let me get this straight. Her entire dating strategy is, my dad still sends me money, therefore my future husband should too. Bro, that's not a relationship requirement. That's a subscription plan. And there it is. The modern standard, I want a provider. Cool. What exactly is he getting in return besides monthly invoices? The crazy part is she says, go find another woman. Translation, the negotiation starts with your wallet already open. Dad spoiled her so hard she accidentally turned marriage into a transfer of ownership.
So a man having to go to work every day to provide for his family is not a sacrifice because it's something he should have to be doing anyway. But when they say the same thing about you cooking and cleaning and doing the dishes and doing laundry, you then understand that the workload increases because of the added responsibility and the added amount of people that is in your home. Right? Because if you were the one doing all the cooking and the cleaning and the washing and the drying, you would consider that to be a sacrifice because you have to work harder than you would if you lived alone. But you don't understand how that also applies to the pressures that comes onto a man's back because he has to work and provide for a lot more people, which provides a lot more pressure on him to make sure he exceeds expectations to work even harder to make even more for his family. Is everyone okay? Are y'all all right? Because I don't think y'all are. Because if those tables was turned and it was you who had to go to work every day to make sure that your family was provided for, you would absolutely consider it to be a sacrifice. When we talk about single motherhood and how hard we have to work as single mothers, we absolutely consider that to be a sacrifice, because there are other things we could be doing with some of our time, but we're having to work harder because everything is on our own backs, which is a sacrifice. Hello? Hello? Is anybody out there? Is anybody out there?
And there it is. One side says a man's responsibility isn't a sacrifice because he's supposed to do it anyway. Then immediately explains how household responsibilities become sacrifices because they're expected to do them anyway. Bro, the contradiction is doing backflips. If cooking for extra people increases workload, then providing for extra people increases workload too. That's literally the same math. The crazy part is people only recognize pressure when they're carrying it themselves. Suddenly, sacrifice counts when it's your burden. Funny how that works.